Welcome, everybody, to The China Show, episode 309, The Real China Show. Got a crazy one for you today. We're talking about the birthright citizenship thing. We're talking about robo-taxis, hundreds of them that just froze in the middle of China.
China turning off their cars mid-road on the highways. Yeah. Hundreds of them.
And so much more. Let's take a look at the sizzle reel, though, so that you can get an idea of what's up in store.
Coming up
in today's China Show.
女人嚟咯，嗱，行正啊，交正住啫，行正，一個路把啲吧。係啦。
And of course, much more.
2瓶矿泉水放上去都牢牢不。
And much more is quite the understatement today, guys. I'll tell you this. If you are going to share a video, share this one.
Yes.
Because the birthright citizenship, it's all over the news. It's a point of contention. We're not here to change your mind on whether you think it should be a thing or not.
Yeah.
We will tell you we have discovered something so unbelievably massive, I would say it's rivaling the stuff that we were doing around the COVID times.
Yeah, and the problem is the news is reporting on the birthright citizenship thing that's in the Supreme Court, but they keep missing the key points of how China is really taking advantage of this and the dangers that are involved. So we're going to be talking about it at length, but let's get on with the show and let's saunter into what's new, shall we?
Absolutely. By the way, shout out to West Central Illinois 309.
Oh,
shout
wonderful.
out to you today.
So we're talking about what's new, specifically with regards to China. Now, you'll know grab hags, I'm sure by now. Grab hags are these middle-aged people in China.
You say middle-aged. We are middle-aged.
Well, you know, when I first got to China, they were middle-aged.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's what, 20 years ago?
So they're 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
elderly.
Yeah, they're in their 60s, let's say. The elderly people. And whenever there's something for free, or let's say, I don't know, a truck overturns or something, they'll just arrive and grab everything. Well, it happens with leaves too. It's like a mad rush. Give me those leaves.
So I was trying to identify the tree, right?
Yeah.
So I uploaded this clip to Google.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at plants usually, so I wanted to see what it was, right? Google had to go out of its way, or whatever I use, had to go out of its way to tell me, just to make sure. I said, what is this chaos, right? And what tree are they picking?
Yeah.
Right? They said, what does it say?
For many older people, especially in rural areas, wild plants equals free food. There's often a first-come, first-serve urgency. Once the person starts harvesting, others rush in so they don't miss out. That's why it looks chaotic. It's not aggression. It's just competitive gathering.
So grab hags are now called competitive gatherers. Why is AI so obsessed with defending China?
I've found that a lot. Honestly, like if you try to ask it questions, it downplays or even lies about bad things.
Yeah.
We're going to do something about that in the future, though, because we've both been doing quite a lot of research and we put together a lot. But it's time to move on.
It's just competitive gathering.
Yeah. So why are they grabbing?
Oh yeah. So sorry, that's probably the most important part.
What's going on?
That's a willow tree, and the willow leaves when they're young, they're small willow leaves, right? And they're tender. They make food. They make them into chao cai, like a fried, stir fry.
Fried vegetable type.
Or they'll steep them, or they'll eat them. And the reason they do that is it actually calms down heat. So if you believe in Chinese medicine, TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, your qi is too hot.
Yep. This
will bring down your qi in the when it gets warmer out.
Do you think it tastes good?
Willow leaves? I mean, there are many leaves that taste fine.
I'm sure this one doesn't.
I think you're right. Yeah. I think you're probably right.
I feel like I've chewed on a weeping willow before and I wasn't happy.
I've never chewed on I was just trying to think. I've never chewed on a weeping willow.
Why not? It's right there. It's hanging, just dangling.
I never had a weeping willow.
You just willow.
I had oak trees in my
okay.
And sugar maples.
Okay. Well, there's enough of this. Yeah. I mean, why not?
They're ripping a tree down.
Yes. Listen, when it comes to workplace safety in China, this is what you can expect.
Dude,
Look at this mad lad.
So scary.
He wasn't even holding onto the wall. He's got no safety harness.
He's also doing a terrible job.
Yes.
He's like sweeping these ledges.
Yeah.
But he's barely doing it because he's going to die.
I look, honestly, why don't you just put a pole on the end of that broom, make it longer, and then stand in safety and do it?
Or get a sick blower.
Yeah, exactly.
And just blow it around
Yeah,
everywhere.
exactly.
This will help you get to where you need to go.
Okay, the elevator's that way, apparently.
Yeah.
Or that way. I don't know.
just love that. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
I do want to say, pause that real quick.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That spinny thing.
Yes.
Some of the comments I was reading, it was like, "I'm sorry, can someone explain what's wrong here?" I was like, "Oh man."
Yeah. Well, the arrow's moving around. It's supposed to point you in a direction.
It's funny that people didn't figure that out.
But
yes, this is a sushi restaurant in China. First of all, to eat sushi in China is brave.
I did it a lot.
Why?
Well,
Why did we do that?
I don't know.
That's so dumb. That is like ground level.
Yeah, I mean, look, especially if you go to the fancy malls, you have this idea that it's probably safe.
It's not. Anyway, especially not safe when there are rats in the sushi.
The thing is, like, those kind of rats are incredibly common in China. I've seen them in a lot of restaurants.
Literally everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's like just par for the course.
If you're in like a normal restaurant, not in a mall or something, you'll see these all the time.
Yeah, it's really quite terrible for the owners because they constantly have to try to chase them away, but these rats are really persistent.
Don't get scared.
Yeah.
That's what you want next to your wall.
Hey, that little cat, mascot, maybe the cat can eat the rat.
Yes. This guy's getting ready to stream.
Mm-hmm.
Here are these fishermen. Oh, I lost his phone.
I'm sorry, but I don't feel sorry for him at all. It serves him right. He kicked off his shoe. Is this a skit?
It's got to be right.
That can't be real.
It's got to be a skit.
Yeah.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
So this guy's got a cold. Okay. Pause that super quick. He's got a glass full of baijiu.
Which is on fire.
Which is on fire.
You know how you light flambe that?
Yeah, you flambe the
you
baijiu.
Flambe it, yeah.
And he has chili peppers in his nose. And he's doing this because he wants to clear out his nose.
Okay. I feel like this is a bad idea. He's smoking a chili pepper.
He's not
through his
smoking
nose.
anything.
Okay, well,
he's medicinal. This is TCM.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever you want to call it. That looks... He's crying,
Well, no beep. Come on.
I know, it's a bit much. Oh, okay. So, quick little update on environmental stuff in China.
Yeah.
Before we get into our main topic here. This is on April Fool's Day, but this is not a fool thing, okay? This, of course, is in Maoming City. We've been there in Guangdong province. And this guy came across them dumping these foul-smelling chemicals near his village.
He's
speaking Hakka, by the way.
Which we don't understand.
Yeah, we don't understand Hakka. It's a very interesting language. Anyway.
My wife can speak it.
Yeah. This is fairly common because here we have a brand new development, as you can see in the background. But raw sewage has been discharged into this road next to it for so long.
That's sewage.
Yes.
That's not like a pond.
No, there's raw sewage has been pumped into it for so long. It's created a swamp. And it stinks the entire area up. And of course, the residents in all these new apartments are like, what the hell? But nothing's been done about it.
Dude, look at that ghost town, though. You know what I mean? Look at all those empty apartments. But there are some people there, right?
Yeah.
And they have to live in this. Pause this. You know, it must be nice.
Oh, dude.
Must be nice to live in a real country.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Must be nice to live in a real
You know what
country.
I hate is when I go outside and it's starting to warm up, right?
Yeah.
And I have to put on my galoshes. I have to put on my rain boots and go through the poop and pee swamp outside my house.
Yeah, that's been there for months.
Yeah, I just hate that.
Yeah. Apparently it stinks the area up so bad. And so, they're trying their best to complain about it. Good luck. Yeah. Good luck. Xinjiang. We all know Xinjiang is where you go to watch happy dancing Uyghurs,
Yeah, and there's no forced labor.
No.
And there's no
genocide. Nothing. It's just... Yeah. Well, apparently all the tourists that go there also just don't know about throwing trash in the trash can.
So that's like a protected high-level tourist area. It must be nice.
Oh, dude,
Must be nice to live in a real country.
So this particular guy is obviously very angry because they're ruining the scenery there. And
Yeah, not everyone's
very
like
protected.
in support of it.
Yeah.
In support
In
of it.
fact, I might say this is all over the country.
绿水青山
才是金山银山。
My gosh. I mean, I'd be mad too.
Yeah, so these
Look at that.
It's ridiculous. Like, you have situations where there's just raw garbage lying around in many places, and the local people don't like this because they
No.
have to smell it.
Yeah, and get sick.
Yes.
That is vile.
Yeah.
That is absolutely
身上带
vile.
各种
Yeah.
细菌，
And
想
not as
想都
vile
膈
as
应
this.。
天
This
道
is
家
a
人说
live
来，
stream
天道
for
家人
a
听好了，
rat
哥姐们
glue
咋
trap.
啦？有啥
A
想
rat
问
glue
的
trap,
不？
And
yeah.
老鼠
they're
闹
demoing
心
it
咱帮你治。
IRL.
It's
今
kind
天
of
直播
funny.
间这
It
个
is,
福利
but
真
I'll
的
be
是
honest with
相
you.
当
Does
到
that
位。
show
平
that
时
it
线下商
works?
超买一张最少也得3块
I
到
guess
5
it shows you
块，
like
这个
how
大
it
家都
would
知道
work.
吧？哪怕你去
You know,
买
it's
一张也是
demonstrating
2块多。
how
今
it
天在
would
主
work.
播直播间15块9毛。
Can we pause that? Let's admire this.
Why is that your thing?
No, I want to know how would you demo this?
What, like that?
Yes.
I mean, why not? I mean, I'm not going to dress up in a gimp suit, though.
Oh, is that what that is?
Well, I don't. What would you say it is?
I don't know. It's a gimp suit. So like you're like crippled?
No, you know, like that's a BDSM thing.
Oh, it's called a gimp suit.
Yeah.
I thought that meant crippled, like he's a gimp.
No, no, that's a different
来，
meaning.
天道家人
Yeah.
听好了，哥姐们咋啦？
Well, anyway,
有
Rat
啥
Boy,
想问的
Yeah.
随时说哈。
not a genius.
欢迎
He
您的大
is
姐，咱们直播间
stuck in the
是
glue
第一次
trap
来
and
吗？
he is demoing
有
it.
什么
I
问
just
题直接打
know
在公
that
屏
some of
上。
that glue's getting under
平均
that
算下
clothing.
来一张不到
Oh,
2
And
块
that's,
钱。
that ain't coming off.
What, you mean on his gimp suit?
No, on his skin.
Oh,
It's gonna-
okay.
it's
Oh,
gonna
that,
get in
yes,
there.
for sure.
小红书。
I remember, by the way, before we show this clip, and this was in Zhengcheng, and I went down to the river, and they had this market. Now, I'd seen this before, but they had this market where everyone's there. I got photos and video of this, actually. There's a guy selling rat poison. But his marketing for selling the rat poison is he had like a tarp, which he'd
yeah.
unraveled that had hundreds of dead rats.
Yes, he like look at my rats.
So
Look,
he's like,
rats.
look at how effective this is. It kills rats, and he literally just has rat carcasses. Yeah, dude, I mean, it was so gross.
You know, and he's got the
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But it was like real dead rats.
Yeah.
And just like rotten dead rats there, like 100
them.
of them or more.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
good. That's a good demo.
Yeah, and he like wraps it all up in his tarp and carries it in like a sack.
It shows you what a serious rat problem China has.
Oh, it's massive.
out of control,
Yeah.
dude. It's a ratland.
So this has recently emerged, and this is apparently a demonstration. They're demonstrating what looks like an APC or a tank here. And you've got all the observers up on the hill watching. This is, again, China's military equipment, which we know works so well that it can stop incoming F-35s. And actually, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, this is a demo, and they're walking there, and accidentally they launch a smoke grenade.
So those are the people watching.
Yeah, yeah, all
Check
the
out this cool
observers.
tank. They were fine, by the way. You TV,
Yeah,
chill
yeah,
out.
they were fine. But
Let's pause that. That is so effing damn. Is
yeah,
it
yeah.
not?
Oh, it is. You know what I really hope? I hope it was tear gas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Place is so fucking damn.
Oh,
Yeah, let's
man,
get back
that's
to that.
Funny.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, you can see the reaction. The guys are like, "Whoops!"
He fired on the observer.
How did they manage to get it so accurate?
So accurate.
Yeah,
That's super fun. Can we watch it again?
yeah, for sure. I like
I
how
just have to
they're like inside. They're like, "Whoops!"
Oh shoot.
yeah,
They're
like
going,
we're
"Oh,
gonna be in
shoot."
trouble. That dude's like, we're,
He shows his face.
It's like, we're,
That's so good.
it's like we're in trouble now.
I like how he. That's the face of a damn. That's like, you know when he's crab swirling. You know what crab swirling?
No, I don't know. What is a crab?
You know
swirl?
that? You know like Mr. Crab from SpongeBob or whatever.
I've never watched it, but I can guess.
I don't watch it either.
Okay,
but
sure you don't.
It's a meme.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
You
Yeah, I
have
know
to
what he
see
looks
this.
like. It's a crab, right?
Yeah, yeah, but the crab swirl.
Oh,
is
that yes, yes.
when you've just lost
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
composure.
I've
and
seen
you
that
go,
meme.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Like I'm like
Well, let's take a look again because it's too
it's
good.
crab swirl. Looks like a video game. That's so freaking.
I'm sorry,
funny.
but that looks very satisfying as well. Yeah. Yeah, imagine they're observing. This is our great new military tank.
Yeah,
Oh,
and you have like these potential foreign buyers or something, right? And
who knows what they're.
You
Yeah.
get fired on.
Yeah, yeah. I guess it shows it works though.
Dude, this guy crab swirling is
Yeah,
so
he's
funny.
like,
Pause
yeah.
it right then.
I'll try. Oh, I missed it. Sorry. Oh,
guys.
oh, there's like a whole bunch of them in there. They're like,
actually
whoops.
crab squirrel.
Yeah, exactly.
You know when the blood rushes out of your face, you're like, I'm dead.
Yeah, exactly. You see, he retreated very quickly back into the APC. Yeah, or tank or whatever it is. Okay, over here. Look, the whole Iran thing is still very much affecting China. These are people loading up barrels full of petrol or gasoline, as some people might call it. And yeah, it's hectic. Massive lines. We've been showing you every week. This is not going away. And one thing that people don't seem to realize is everyone's like, China's fine. They all have EVs and stuff. But they don't understand that China's main source of energy is coal and oil.
Yeah.
You know, all the solar panels and stuff is just like an added bonus, but that's not what actually runs their system. Okay, now, guys, we're going to get into the birthright citizenship thing here. Very important, some crazy stuff, and of course the robo-taxes and all that. But first, we have a word which we would like for all of you to see, if you don't mind. Spring is when life speeds up. Travel, packed weekends, changing routines, all of it. And usually that's when healthy habits start falling apart. That's why I like keeping AG1 in the mix, because it makes my morning routine way simpler.
Instead of juggling a multivitamin, probiotics, and a bunch of other supplements, it's one scoop in cold water, and I'm good to go. AG1 combines vitamins, minerals, probiotics, prebiotics, and nutrient-dense whole foods into one daily health drink designed to help fill common nutrient gaps and support whole body health.
For me, the biggest thing is the steady daily support.
I absolutely love AG1. I've been drinking it for ages now. And I honestly would feel like my day was missing something if I didn't drink it.
I also like the fact that you don't need anything to make it. Like, I know you don't have a kettle in your house, so, you know, it's impossible. I have to use cold water. So,
Lies!
It's the truth.
It also includes nutrients to support brain health, mood, and nervous system. And that's especially nice when your schedule gets hectic. Spring already feels like a reset, so it's a really easy habit to keep consistent, whether you're at home or using the travel packs on the go. No giant supplement stack, no overcomplicated routine, just one scoop in the morning.
Visit drinkag1.com/ADV to get an AG1 flavor sampler and a bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2 free in your welcome kit with your first AG1 subscription. A $72 value. That's drinkag1.com/ADV. And a big thank you to AG1 for sponsoring the video. And now back to the show. Okay, guys, Soft Power Hour, where we talk about the main topic. And of course, the main topic is this whole birthright citizenship thing that's been in the news.
What if they're not American and they don't know what that means?
Okay, so basically, America is one of the few countries in the world where if you're born there, you automatically become a citizen.
Yeah.
Okay? That doesn't happen in most of the world.
No, I mean, even in like very progressive countries like Sweden and stuff, that's not a thing.
Yeah, and when I say that is, of course, if you're born to an American mother or father, you will become a citizen. But if you basically are an illegal alien, or if you're just a tourist and you give birth inside of America, your child becomes an American citizen.
Yes.
And you can imagine when you've got a loophole like that, the Chinese government and Chinese people in general are going to take advantage of it because it's there. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay. And this is a video I did 6 years ago about this. Okay. I tried to expose this 6 years ago where I did a thing called Birth Tourism, Why Chinese Women Pay Top Dollar. And I spoke about all the methods that they use and the fact that it's out in the open. Like this is from that video is a website that I went to go look at, one of a few, where it literally says, Mei Guo Shenghaizen. It tells you, go to America to have babies. It tells you, it used to have all the instructions on how to lie when you're obtaining a visa, how to lie when you pass immigration and customs and all that, what to do, how to prepare, all the steps and all that kind of thing. But since then, of course, it's ramped up. And within the last 6 years, we've seen it really blossom and become a massive industry. It's like a factory industrial type thing. And so we wanted to talk to you about all the new things we've discovered and how crazy it is.
It's out of control.
Yeah. So let's see how things have snowballed since
So when
then.
you peruse the Chinese internet, you will not believe how many ads and how-to guides there are for Chinese people to go, non-American citizens, to go to America, have a baby, get its citizenship, social security card, and its passport, get it all registered up, and then immediately leave and go back to China so that you can live in China. This is what it's set up for, right?
Yeah.
There are thousands of these centers, and they're called birthing centers, okay? So basically what you do is you travel to the U.S. on a visitor's visa.
Yeah, so you lie about your visa application.
Yes.
You say you're going sightseeing, like I want to see the Grand Canyon or whatever.
For sure. And then you, obviously there's all these videos that people watch on how to do it, right? Yeah. And then you go to, you get through the border, you get through customs.
One thing that's important is, for those of you who don't know, when you when you get a tourist visa, you have to provide a travel itinerary.
Yes.
It's part of the process. So the websites and so on, they advise people to give a false itinerary, say they're only going to stay for like 5 days or a week or something, and also say that they're going to go and stay in places that they're not going to go stay in. So like, oh, I'm going to go stay in this hotel in that state. But actually they're going to these unlicensed birthing centers.
Yes. So what happens is they go to these birthing centers, right? And a lot of times, which is what very interesting, is that you pay tens of thousands of dollars to these birthing centers, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people, when they give birth in the hospitals, are actually not paying the hospital.
No, they
and the
don't.
birthing center, some of them do, but some of them don't even pay the hospital, because why would you pay the bill for giving birth to your child if you can just run away back to China?
Yeah, so let me give you a quick breakdown of how it works. You pay an agency a lot of money, and you pay upfront in China. And it's usually a lot, like it's between 30 to 50,000 US dollars. It could be up to 80,000, just depends. And what they do then is they take care of everything for you. You fly, first of all, you apply for your tourist visa. You lie about it. You create a fake itinerary. As soon as you make it over the border into the US, they will pick you up and take you to basically a converted house that's been turned into one of these birthing centers, and you'll probably have 10 other mothers living in there, each in their own room, okay? Then they take care of you in the traditional Chinese sense, okay? They do the 坐月子 thing, which is they'll prepare special Chinese food for you, make sure you've got all the Chinese medicines and all that kind of stuff, so it's very comfortable for a Chinese mother. Then when you're ready to give birth, they take you to the hospital. They also coach them on how to present themselves as indigent, which means poor. Okay? So a usual birth will cost something like $32,000 or something stupid, because America's health system is very expensive. But because they pretend that they have no money, they have to pay the bare minimum, which is only something like $4,000, $5,000.
And most of these people are very wealthy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Well, if you've paid $30,000 to $80,000 to come over and get this, you have money. All of them are. This is not. There are no poor Chinese people doing this. It's impossible, because to be able to even get on a plane.
Yeah, that's a pipe dream.
Yeah, exactly. So it's only rich Chinese people who do this, and at the very least middle class. So they game the system. It ends up costing the hospitals a lot of money, because they don't pay the bills. It also like falls on taxpayers as well to pick up the slack, because that's usually how this works. So they game the system the entire way through. Then basically you have a short period of recovery during which they feed them all the special traditional Chinese soups and everything, in those houses. While that's happening, the agency will then apply for the passport, the social security card, everything else that's necessary for your US citizen child. And then they send you back with your newborn with the American passport and everything. Because, of course, it needs a passport to fly back. And I saw this firsthand the second time I came to the States. And when I was flying back to China, it just happened to be on the same day when there was a whole group that had obviously just finished the whole thing in the birthing center. And there was about 8 or 9 Chinese parents all holding newborns, and they were handing in the American passports for the newborns to get the boarding pass or whatever. So I saw it with my own eyes. And this is something that just goes on constantly. And you might ask, why would you do this? We're going to get into like some of the more nefarious things, but the first most basic reason why you would do this is you now have an ability to open up bank accounts in the USA, trust funds. You can start to buy property and real estate through your child, because now you have a US citizen child. You can start to park money in America, because let's face it, it's very iffy in China. You never really know when the government's going to change rules, freeze your assets, whatever, especially if you're a wealthy person who does bribery and so on. You need to get that money out. So that's the most practical reason for this. But we'll get into the other stuff later, because it's kind of crazy. Do you want to talk about this.
If you look at some of these videos, the descriptions say, how should I explain to the customs officer that I'm 32 weeks pregnant and I'm going to the U.S. to give birth with a big belly? And then it's all these guides, right? So you have these guides, and this is interesting. This is what we found has changed. We'll get into that in a second, but it says detailed guide for entering the U.S. to give birth while pregnant. Just wanted to show you some of the stuff we were scrolling through, what this stuff is actually about.
So when I did my original video, I looked into these guides, and some of the things that they advise them to do is wear loose clothing to try and hide your pregnancy. Try to go through ports that are not so strict, like flying to Hawaii rather than LAX or something, because they're expecting more tourists to land in Hawaii. So
or they flip-flop it and say, actually, right now, that's not a good one.
Yeah, they change it. They also tell them which lines to go when you're passing through customs, which lines are probably less of a worry. They give a whole list of things to do and things to prepare and the lies that you tell when you reach the customs if they ask you.
Yes.
All right.
So let's look at some of this stuff. This was nuts. This really opened our eyes to how big of a deal this was. And the sheer scale of it, right? So these are some of the facilities, right? These birthing facilities. They'll say, hey, come to whatever town. You're right next to a mall. You're right next to shopping. It's super comfortable. We'll take care of everything for you. Don't worry about a thing. It's actually kind of framed as like a luxury vacation.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how they get past this too, is that if you just say, oh, this is like a luxury resort or something, it doesn't really matter what's going on there, right?
For sure.
So getting some customers in and making sure that they feel comfortable or whatever. And there's lots of different ones. In fact, there are so many, it's not even funny. And they go from cheap, weird in a garage setups to like absolutely insane, luxurious, spa day.
Where you stay in like a mansion or whatever.
Exactly. So you have people that have their testimonials and stuff about how they did it and it was so smooth and everything. And really, most of these people's goal is to get their child immediately out of America with all that paperwork.
Oh, they don't want to live in America. People get confused. They think this is an anchor baby thing.
Yeah.
It's not. By the way, anchor baby is a big load of rubbish. I know this firsthand because I have a child who's American. I cannot become a citizen because my child is a citizen. I have to wait.
A lot of people think that.
Yeah, I have to wait till she's 21 and then she can sponsor me. So you think I'm going to wait till I'm 60 or whatever the hell it is,
and then finally,
like an old man. Then I'm like, yes, I can finally use this anchor baby privilege. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not anchor baby. They want a U.S. citizenship for their child so that they can do lots of things that have got to do with money, investment, and also lots of dastardly things, which we'll talk about. Yeah.
But yeah, there's whole guides, right? There's like perks. They actually try to sell you on the idea too. So they'll put these videos on the Chinese internet and say, look at how actually it's awesome to get citizenship for your child in America. And this really is an affront to a lot of people what they think about China. They think, why would China want their citizens to see freedom for even a couple weeks, get citizenship for their child? They love this. This is a CCP goal. It's in fact a main tactic of China to take over or infiltrate the West, especially the U.S. in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you have hundreds of thousands of new American citizens that didn't go through the American education system, they didn't experience freedom and American values, and they grew up in literally, most of them are like Communist Party affiliated, right?
Of course.
They grew up in this situation. They can now be mobilized to go back into America to not only set up businesses and take over education centers and infiltrate stuff like that, but they can literally become politicians. They're born in the U.S. They can become president of the United States.
It's possible.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is. It's insane.
In fact, that's not far off of
we have a story about that. Yeah. So again, just to bring it back to your point, when they fly here to do the birth tourism, they don't speak English. They're met by Chinese-speaking people who take them to a house where they just do Chinese traditional stuff. They don't actually get to explore America or do anything. They're just here to give birth, and they fly straight back. So now the children that are now American citizens, they are not exposed to America. No. They grow up in the Chinese educational system with all the propaganda. They get force-fed to worship the party, that America is your enemy and all of that kind of stuff. But now they have the citizenship.
It's also not a hypothetical, right? We're kind of speaking like it's like, oh, maybe that's what will happen. It's an actual like asymmetric goal of the CCP.
It's 100%. Anyway, let's take a look at what this guy has to say.
We have identified more than 1,000 birth tourism companies that are almost exclusively focused on the United States. Our federal government does not track this information because there is no centralized collection of information on the nationality of parents who are giving birth. China, however, has done estimates themselves, and the numbers are eye-popping. The Chinese government gave an estimate a few years ago. Their estimate was that on average 50,000 Chinese citizens a year were giving birth in the United States or at U.S. territories like Saipan. There are others like Professor Salvatore Barbonis from Australia who believes that number is higher. He's estimated 100,000. There was a research firm in China that estimated in 2018 alone 180,000 managed to give birth in the United States. No one knows what the actual number is, and that is the challenge that we face today. If you do the math, if you look at the ramping up of this activity over the last 13 years, and you take the ballpark estimates, you are looking at roughly 1 million, quote unquote, U.S. citizens who are being raised in the People's Republic of China today. If you look at the websites of these birth tourism companies, they will tell you who is hiring them. These are not political dissidents. These are military officers, people from the Ministry of Propaganda, people that are high-ranking officials in the Chinese Communist Party. In other words, these are part of the CCP establishment.
That's right.
Is wild. So you know how you looked into this 6 years ago?
Yeah.
So we looked into it again, right?
Yep.
The exact same style website's still up. In fact, let's translate this one.
What is that? Fat Daddy?
Yeah, Fat Dad. So this one goes and helps people like figure out how to do all this stuff, right?
Right.
And there's an interesting shift. There's an interesting kind of change in language a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So it says USA Visa. In fact, you have more than one choice, right?
Okay.
Let's peruse into this website because there's a few things here. It's interesting. So they go into what they do. They explain why it's good for a child to have an American citizenship.
I like one of the big reasons they say is the citizenship can never be taken away.
Yes,
that's one of the selling points.
That's a perk. It can never be taken away. It says even though American citizens are taxed abroad, if they're not earning money, what are they going to do?
And they'll never report if they make money. How is it ever going to be known?
Find a better life, right? It's all about like you're setting yourself up in the future for a better life if your child gets American citizenship, right? But really, it gets very interesting when you get down to the nitty gritty here. So they tell you what steps there are. First, they'll do visa processing, right?
Yep.
Then they'll help you get through customs.
You translated this, obviously, because that Moon Center, so obviously 坐月子, right?
Yes.
For the Moon Center,
yes. And they during the 坐月子, the sitting month as it's called, they give you your villa, your apartment, your food.
Yeah, if you say that, villa, apartment, mansion, you can,
there's different packages you'll see.
Yeah.
Go to the next step.
Okay.
So that gives you a whole guide here on like what they'll take care of. This is their service scope, right? They make an appointment at a doctor's hospital. They have the baby ID application. And this is where it's important. Go to the next one.
So birth paper, obviously, is birth certificate, level 3 certification, social security card, US passport, and China travel permit. They organize everything for you.
Yes, that's what's important. Go to the next one to wrap that part up. This means that like, for example, technically a Chinese person could fly over here and do this themselves, right? But they're paying exorbitant money to these big services and stuff because they don't speak English. Most Chinese people don't speak a lick of English, right? Or a very basic English.
Especially the rich ones, they have no need.
For sure.
You'll get, it's kind of an interesting situation because you'll get sort of middle class and the more poor, not poor, but more upcoming people, they try their best because it perhaps will give them opportunities to make money or engage with the Western world. But if you're a corrupt, rich official, you never need to speak English ever.
For sure.
Yeah, anyway, you were saying?
They're basically saying they'll take care of everything for you. It's like a full package deal, right? We'll do all the paperwork. We'll do all the stuff that the Chinese people don't want to do, not comfortable doing, right? And then they'll return to China. So they'll help you deal with all the paperwork about what do you do when you get back when you have this American child.
They say baby's household registration, host a return party, insurance, immigration consulting. They do all of that.
Yes.
It's kind of crazy, huh?
Keep going.
All right.
Let's examine. So this is what's interesting. So it says like going to the United States to give birth and pass customs. So there's a problem here. It says how to get through customs. This is something every expectant mother preparing to give birth in the United States should consider. Whether you have previously applied for a tourist visa or an honest visa, you must go through customs honestly and not lie.
Now, this is a lie. Okay, this is where they've changed their wording with their outward-facing websites because When I did this 6 years ago, it would tell you on the website that
like
you
what
need to
do.
lie.
Yeah.
They said, when you apply for your tourist visa, do not mention that you're going to give birth. Just say that you're going to see, and they would give a list of like tourist attractions to go and see. And they would say, like, when you get to customs, do not tell them that you're pregnant. Make sure they can't see that you're pregnant. Try to disguise it, all that kind of stuff.
Now these websites say, don't lie, be honest. You do an honesty visa.
Yes.
Because they go on to say, like, it is perfectly legal to do this.
Sure.
There is nothing wrong with this, right?
Well, let me tell you one thing, okay? As somebody who himself applied for a tourist visa to go to America the first time I came, and then obviously later I applied for a different one. When you have to go up in that line in the American embassy, you have to go face to face with an interviewer. You have to pass an interview. And they ask you questions because they have to suss out if you're there to do something wrong or not. If you are going up for a tourist visa and they ask you, what are you going to do? You're like, oh, I'm going to go give birth. They're going to say, sorry, cancelled. You're not going to be able to get your visa.
Well, let's continue. I'll show
because that's the whole point. A tourist visa is for touring, not for giving birth.
Right.
That's like you would have to have some special medical visa or something.
So it's interesting. These websites are saying like, oh, just be honest, right?
Yeah.
We'll show you why in a second. But it says, it's perfectly allowed. It says so this is the FAQ.
Yes.
It says the pregnant mother asked, I am 2 months pregnant. What visa can I apply for? If you're going to the United States to give birth, you should apply for a B2 visa. You should choose a tourist visa or an honest visa.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
B2 is the tourist visa.
Yes.
That's the one I got the first time I came to America,
An honest visa is something they've created.
Yes.
About tell the truth, but also get a tourist visa.
Well, I mean, this is because now they know there's scrutiny.
Yes.
Okay, so their public-facing websites have to say that because if they are now lying, they could potentially get too much scrutiny, right?
So here's the State Department website. It says travel purposes not permitted. Okay.
Yes.
Travel purposes not permitted on visitor visas. Birth tourism travel for the primary purpose of giving birth in the United States to obtain U.S. citizenship for their child is not permissible on a visitor visa.
So that gets rid of the entire argument.
Yes.
You may not participate in birth tourism on a tourist visa, on that B2 visa.
Even though these websites are like, oh, it's totally
they're like,
fine.
yeah, you can do it, just be honest. That's the lie part because we all know these are the rules actually from the American government. And I know this firsthand. I actually saw somebody in front of me in the line get denied their visa. They were applying for a student visa, but it was supposed to be a student visa in like advanced English or something. And the lady behind the counter, it's actually a very nice lady. She helped me with my visa. She asked him some basic questions in English and he couldn't answer, so she denied it. You see, that's the whole point of the interview. And it's very important. They do an incredibly important job in the embassies, the American embassies overseas, because they have to basically filter out all the very obvious scams. But it's very easy to trick them as well, because imagine everybody wants to go see the Golden Gate Bridge or the Grand Canyon or Yosemite or whatever, so then they're going to have that in their itinerary and it's all fake. And how do you tell?
Yeah.
Especially if they're not showing that they're pregnant yet.
True.
Anyway.
So what's interesting is that caught me off guard. I was like, why are they telling them just to tell the truth? There must be something more to this, right?
Yeah. So.
Well, let's see what happens if you try to do the birth tourism thing and go through.
And get caught.
And then they say, yes, I'm here to give birth. Let's see.
Yeah, because basically what we're going to show you here in the annoying smoking couple's living room TV over here is... this is from a number of years ago, but this is a situation in one of those shows where they actually caught someone lying about coming, and it turns out they actually wanted to give birth. Let's see what actually happens. So it ratifies
How come she wants to give birth in the United States? Okay, so she plans to have her baby here in the U.S. Where's she going to have her baby? Is it going to be at a birthing center or is it going to be at a hospital?
A birthing center.
So she's not going to a hospital?
No.
Most birthing centers here in the U.S. are not licensed as a business, so they're somewhat illegal. How much are they charging her to stay there?
所以这月子中心差不多要收费，怎么收费他们呢？3万美金一个月，是。
So she said like $30,000 a month.
They charge her $30,000 for 1 month.
Okay, so after she has the baby, then what's the plan?
回国. She will go back to China with her baby.
Did they ask her, was she pregnant when she went to apply for her visa?
没有. Not really.
How come she didn't tell the embassy she was coming to the U.S. to give birth? Did she try to hide her pregnancy?
因为他们跟我说，就说是旅游. She was told it's easier to get a visa.
Okay, did someone coach her or tell her to misrepresent herself at the U.S. embassy?
Yes. Okay. She was told to tell the officer she's coming here for sightseeing.
because she didn't tell the embassy her true intent for wanting to travel to the U.S., so she needs to go back home.
能不能给我一个机会 She asked if you can give her a chance.
She seems like a nice lady, and I wish things worked out differently for her, but today she has to go back home. It's not illegal to give birth in the U.S., but you have to be truthful when you apply for your visa. She obtained a visa through fraud, and we can't just ignore that fact because the child automatically obtains U.S. citizenship. So it's pretty important.
So, I mean, there's an example of somebody being successfully stopped. And it just shows all this nonsense that they talk about on the websites about, oh, it's totally legal, you can do it, etc. It's not legal. You're not supposed to do it. This is one out of hundreds of thousands, by the way, that got caught. And I'm pretty sure that they don't catch them very often because it's very convincing. You know, when you're traveling and you're coming through like a port into Hawaii or whatever it is, and you're like, here, I'm here to like go and see Oahu or something, they're probably going to let you in. Now you're in the United States. Now you can just give birth and you're going to have a citizen, you know?
Yeah. So what was interesting is that I wanted to see what the angle was here. It says, they advise you with the big belly to be honest, like if you're pregnant.
Yeah.
There are many success stories of honest passes now. They'll share examples of mothers who have successfully passed the pass. Mothers can go to this Weibo. So what they do is they move you off of the American website.
Well, it's not American. That's a open website. It's in China.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They move you off of the American-facing website, right? To promote places to give birth in America.
Yeah.
And they move you into Weibo and they move you onto WeChat groups.
Yes.
They move you away into these Chinese platforms so that you can see all the stories of how to actually pass the things. They hide it now.
Exactly.
So before, like you said, they would be very overt and say, don't do this, lie about this, say this. Now they move you over elsewhere to like another, and it actually turns in, it's a big coaching platform. So they'll actually get people into another money-making scheme. It's not like just to get to the birthing centers. Now there's a money-making scheme about how to pass customs. So you pay for their course.
I mean, think about it like this. It's kind of if you had to pass an exam, I don't know, to become a forklift driver, let's say, okay? And you go to a company that specializes in getting your forklift license quickly. And on their website, they're like, you will sit the federal exam for forklift driving. But just go to this particular center on Wednesday and ask for Steve, and he'll make sure that you know, and meanwhile, so then you go and then he just like gives you a fake document or whatever. Yeah. It's that kind of thing.
Keep going.
All right. So they, like you say, oh, be honest, but first contact,
go to this,
go to
these
this
kind of places, like these Weibos.
This is one of the Weibos. And then these Weibos are going to tell you how to lie, how to cheat, how to steal.
Or who to talk to and who to pay to be coached.
Yeah, yeah. What was that? We lied, we cheat, we stole.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Classic.
Yeah, the classic.
That's a quote. Look at this in the Q&A. What is there in particular to pay attention to when going through custom? Preparing passing materials is a top priority. If you choose this team to assist you through customs, we'll prepare professional customs clearance materials for you, and it will work very well. You can follow the Weibo and WeChat and share examples of visas and customs clearance every day. So they're promoting this service where it's like a bunch of people. It's like a community. It's like, I did this. No, I did this. Oh, don't do that.
Yeah.
But I also found these videos on Douyin. You know, the things that we're scrolling through before.
Yes.
A lot of the stuff's on there.
Yeah.
People are just sharing their experiences to coach.
Yeah, I mean, they shut down one of these birth tourism things, birthing centers in California. I believe it was in 2019 or so. It was called Happy USA Happy Baby or something. And part of the thing when they actually shut it down is they found that the instructions they were giving their clients was to lie to customs and lie for your visa application and how to do it and how to disguise that you're pregnant when going through customs.
Gotcha.
It's a big part of it.
It is, yeah. They'll say like you'll get reimbursed or whatever. Or you'll get an extension if you don't get through for 6 months.
Yeah, because like sometimes they might let you in but only give you a short stay on your trip.
Yes.
Because if they think you're suspicious, then they're like, don't worry, we can extend that for you.
Yes, these are the documents you get if you go through them and whatnot. But what's interesting is the consequences of all this stuff. But look at this, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Child Package A Extreme Package. What is this? Cool Ranch Doritos?
I mean, luxury villa, private driver, customized VIP service, supreme enjoyment. Do you understand that they're turning an illegal criminal act into, because visa fraud's criminal, into a luxury package like a spa day. It's crazy.
But like putting barriers in between it, obviously.
Yeah. But I mean, it is just an illegal act. They're basically saying, hey, you know, like, we'll take you to a jewelry store to rob it, but we'll drive you there in a limo.
Yeah.
We'll smash the window for you.
No, we don't have anything to do with that part.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you know, like, you actually steal the items.
Yeah, you do it.
Yeah, but we'll make sure that everything's cool and we'll package it up nicely for you and send it off.
What is this, Tony Hawk's Pro Birth?
Yeah, you see how they put a WeChat number underneath as well? So that's who you contact on WeChat. By the way, WeChat, if you don't know, it's like WhatsApp and Twitter and everything all in one. It's the Chinese super app. And it's the way that crime happens in all over the world. Like, Chinese crime is facilitated by this because it's kind of a walled off system. You cannot open a WeChat account unless you have a Chinese phone number, and you have to tie it to your Chinese ID or whatever. So like a random outside dude can't just gain access to WeChat. And then on top of that, it's the language barrier. If you can't speak it, well, if you can't read Chinese, you wouldn't be able to see what's going on. You also have to be invited to certain groups. So you basically will join the birth fraud group, and they'll tell you what to do. And they can say whatever they want in there. They can say treasonous things and, you know, plot terrorist attacks and whatever, and nobody's going to know about it. You know, nobody in the UK or the USA or whatever can actually access that. It's all controlled by the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah.
So
WeChat, their goals.
WeChat, which is this little green thing here, that's the logo. It's bad news, dude. It's a way to completely circumvent any kind of, you know, law enforcement, basically.
Anyway, this is just how all this works. But
Okay.
Continue. So looking more into this,
Federal
there's
agents
other methods, right? But this is an example of one that they busted.
Yeah.
Swooping in this morning to raid what they are calling maternity tourism rings. The ring helps pregnant women, most of them in this area from China, illegally travel to the U.S. to give birth to American babies. NBC4's Hetty Chang has more from Orange County.
Just after sunrise, they are ready to roll. Our cameras are there as dozens of federal investigators storm into the Carlisle apartments in Irvine.
If you come here in the evening, you see all the pregnant women walking around.
Investigators say this building and at least 20 other locations they raided in LA, Orange, and San Bernardino counties double as maternity hotels.
People who come from China to the United States for the sole purpose.
Now, that was a number of years ago. That's not a recent bust.
Yes.
This has been going on for forever.
What did you want to say about this? Kind of interesting.
Now, this is interesting. It's just come to light. Remember last week we told you about that Chinese couple, the brother and sister, who planted an IED outside of the CENTCOM MacDill Air Force Base? Yeah, an IED, a bomb. Improvised, well, it's actually, we called it a PED, planned explosive device, you know, because it wasn't improvised, you know, they actually did it properly. Turns out that they are birthright citizens. Their parents were illegal here in the States and gave birth to these two. They became citizens to illegal Chinese parents. So it just shows you how the birthright citizenship can lead to dangerous situations like this as well.
Yes.
You know, it's a national security risk because you're not going to be scrutinizing American citizens.
No. Well, not as much, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Right. Looking more into this, though, look at this. So this is the second flavor. There's 3 flavors of this.
And I must say, like, when I first made my video 6 years ago, I was just focusing on birthright tourism, birth tourism. Like, come here, born, have a baby, fly back with the American passport and the vehicle which has now given you that, you know, passport, which is a child.
Yes.
But now this is something completely different, which I didn't cover, and this is even more disturbing, is the surrogacy.
Yes. So here's how this works.
Okay.
Instead of the mother traveling to the United States while pregnant, some intended parents, they call them IPs, arrange for a surrogate in the U.S. to carry the pregnancy. That means an embryo is created through IVF, right, and transferred to the surrogate in the U.S.
Yeah.
The surrogate stays in the U.S. and gives birth there. Because the baby is born in the U.S., the child is now considered a U.S. citizen at birth. After the birth, the intended parents work through parentage and travel paperwork so they can take custody of the baby and then travel with the child. The child can then be taken back to China and raised there. Even though the child has U.S. citizenship, the U.S. recognizes dual nationality. China does not.
China doesn't, yeah.
The controversy here is different from ordinary birth tourism. In a surrogacy case, the mother may never travel to the U.S. pregnant at all. The key issue becomes the use of the U.S. surrogate, so the birth happens on U.S. soil. Another major complication is that the State Department warns that surrogacy is actually illegal in China, right?
It is.
But guess what? Nobody cares. Nobody does anything about that. So basically, this is how it is. You hire a U.S. surrogate, they carry your baby, you go to America, pick up your baby, and you go home, right? There's a whole guides on how this works.
It's quite terrible because you basically just ship your genetic material through the mail. You just like send it over, and then they impregnate somebody who's hard up for money over here, you know, because
or does it for a living.
Yeah, they pay a lot of money. They pay like 20, 30, 40, 50,000.
It's more
and then
expensive.
just go pick up your package, you know?
Yeah. It's very like
it's inhuman.
It feels
like
crazy.
A farm. It's like a freaking farm.
Because China's using it as
like a
farm.
battery farm. Yeah.
And they just go through. You don't need to pause it on here. I just wanted to show there are whole guides on how to do this as well. It's not just the birthing centers.
Oh, and
right?
it gets crazy.
It gets way crazier, way crazier, because it turns out there is a third flavor of this. Okay, on these websites, they just give you all the instructions, right?
Yeah.
This is called surrogacy without even going to the U.S.
Yes.
And now we can start to see where this could get out of control. Okay.
Sure.
Two intended parents in China provide genetic material, sperm and an egg.
Yeah.
They create an embryo.
Sure.
For IVF. A surrogate in the United States carries a pregnancy and gives birth in the U.S. Because the baby's born in the U.S., it's now a U.S. citizen.
Yes.
Right? But the parents don't necessarily have to be present physically during the pregnancy for the child to be born an American citizen. The key event for the birthright citizenship is actually just for the birth to take place on U.S. soil.
That's right.
Signing over power of attorney can actually open up a whole new window.
Sure.
Okay? What happens is you can sign over power of attorney to deal with everything.
To those agents.
Or whoever's dealing with this.
Sure.
And technically get the child with U.S. citizenship over to China without you doing anything.
So you're just sitting in China. You basically, I guess you jerk off into a vial, for lack of a better way to say this, send the material all the way over there. You don't even need to worry. Somebody gets pregnant with your genetic material, carries your baby like a farm, like a breeding cow or something. The baby gets born and then gets shipped back to you. And then it arrives in China for you to like add to your collection.
And do you see how this is a problem? Can I ask you a hypothetical question?
Sure.
What's preventing someone from doing this 100 times if they have
nothing, because it's been done.
Yes.
There are cases where, for instance, one Chinese billionaire has over 100 surrogate babies born in the U.S.
Yeah, I think you have a little clip about
I do.
Do you
I'm
not?
pretty sure I do. Let's take a look. Let's see what your translation says here.
It's just all these websites that give you advice about surrogacy.
Yeah, there we go.
There's all kinds of guides out there.
This is an entire industry built on cheating a system.
Yeah.
Taking advantage of a loophole.
It's a loophole.
That's all it is. It's how to cheat America. You know? On an industrial scale.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. It really opened our eyes to the whole thing. We don't need to go through every freaking document ever in the history of mankind here. But yeah, hold on, pause that.
Mm-hmm.
Basic compensation for the expected mothers, 40 to 70,000.
Yeah.
So the mothers, the surrogates are getting paid about that much.
Yeah.
And then you have all these other things. So the whole thing adds up to be over like $100,000 basically.
Sure.
But if you're a Chinese billionaire in the
you
CCP,
don't care. It's nothing.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Let's see that clip about the dude that had 100.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try to fast forward some of this. Let's see. Watch me
What
overshoot.
you can do is make us big and then do it.
Yeah, you're right. I'll do it in the background.
Hang out.
It can cost.
Oh, it's right there. It's always
one
like
Chinese
that.
billionaire reportedly has more than 100 U.S.-born children through surrogacy. The idea, build a future family and a business succession plan. Some clients, by the way, request up to 100 babies via multiple surrogacies. It can cost as much as $200,000. And why would they do that? Because babies born here are automatically U.S. citizens. Also, surrogacy is illegal in China. Nearly 41% of international surrogate parents in the United States are Chinese.
That's a big percentage. So it's half. Half of all surrogacies are Chinese. And I think this is something that people have to to focus on, because I know a lot of people right now, the whole thing about birthright citizenship, they're like, oh, illegals, they're coming to the country from Mexico or whatever, having kids, and illegals. Guys, that is a problem. But do you see that there's a bigger problem here? You have a country who's an adversarial country that's doing the majority of it. They have a whole industry surrounding this thing. They game the system. Not only do they bring them in and, clog up the system, but they're also causing massive amounts of problems. Hospitals have had to cut maternity wards out in some areas because they're not making a profit anymore, because all the Chinese birth tourism parents claim to be indigent, and so they don't pay the full amount, so they don't make money. It's costing taxpayers a lot of money, because then the bill has to be picked up by someone, and Medicaid or whatever has to end up taking the brunt of this. They're causing a big problem, but at the same time, just gaming the system and using their now infant, which will become a child, to do all sorts of loophole stuff, like claim benefits and stuff in the future, but also just to set up all these weird investment schemes and so on, and also to do things which would normally be illegal or impossible for a foreign national. They can now do it through their, token American citizen child, which is appalling. Think about this. If you wanted to vote in an American election, but you weren't a citizen, what would be a better way to do it than to basically have an army of children? What if you say 100 kids you have? This dude, he's got 100 kids. They're all raised in China. They're probably all around the same age. So you have an army of, say, 3-year-olds walking around at the moment, or 6-year-olds. You just need to wait until they're at a voting age. Send them back to America, or they can do it remotely, because you can vote remotely, those mail-in ballots or whatever. And you're like, I want to vote, and I want this particular president to be in power, so I'm going to activate my army of 100 kids, and you can multiply this by however many, and all these 100 kids are all going to vote for this particular person I want to vote for. Now, as a non-citizen, I can vote in American elections through my proxies. It's crazy. And it's a long game that the Chinese government is playing, because, as you saw, the estimates are up to 1 million. And I can believe that, because I've been tracking this for 6 years now, and it's been going on long before I even caught wind of it. And so there are countless American citizens that have grown up under the Communist Party propaganda and brainwashing, who are there to be used as tools to interfere with American politics. It's crazy, huh?
Raise the stakes. A vote's a vote.
Yeah.
I mean, democracy is important, right? But a vote is a vote. What about 100 politicians?
Yes.
That are literally American citizens and can run for any public office.
It's crazy.
And then sway anything in favor of the Chinese government.
That's true.
Why would that not happen?
And it does happen, as you're going to see.
After getting a search warrant, detectives seized security cameras from inside the home and made some alarming discoveries.
We discovered numerous children, 15 children to be specific, ranging in ages from 2 months old to 13 years old. Many of the children were birthed through surrogacy, and then the male and female at the residence took legal guardianship of those kids.
6 other kids, investigators say, had been moved to other homes. All 21 of the kids confirmed to be the children of this couple, 65-year-old Guojun Shen.
Okay, that guy is important. So let me quickly lay down what was happening here, because at first, when I heard about this, I was confused. I thought that this must be one of those surrogacy agencies and they're doing it for people overseas. No. This guy wanted as many kids as he could have. Okay, we're going to find out this guy's really bad. He shouldn't be here in America. So he wanted to have all these kids. So he would approach, first of all, he didn't want to use a surrogate agency. He created his own. So he registered his own surrogacy agency, him and his wife. And what they did was they would approach these mothers to be surrogates and say, oh, we only have one child. We want a sibling for the child. And then pay them the money and they'd give full term. He did this for, I think it was in total about 27 kids. But at this time, they found 21. Most of them were actually the same age. Most of them were around about 3 years old when they actually arrested them here, all living in that big mansion that he has. And they had classrooms in there. They had nannies looking after the kids and basically running them through drills and teaching them.
Boot camp.
Yeah, it's like a boot camp for these 21 kids all in this one mansion. And now this is alleged, but the people that were working there said that he allegedly wanted one of his children to become the U.S. president, and he would
had enough.
And he was naming them after American leaders and stuff. And so he wanted to basically raise his own army and have as many as possible U.S. citizens to interfere with politics. That was his end goal. And now when you find out who this guy is... That's alleged. That's what the people that were working there said. But when you find out exactly about this guy, you'll be shocked.
Couple, 65-year-old Guajun Shen and 38-year-old Sylvia Zhang. They were arrested for felony child endangerment, but later released. Police have also issued an arrest warrant for their nanny.
So we found this website called Save Uyghur from Justice for All, right? And it's all about all the crap that's happening in Xinjiang, all the human rights abuses that the Chinese government does against the Uyghur people in Xinjiang right now. And what was interesting is that this guy's name comes up in a Google search for that, right?
Yes.
It turns out...
This is the guy, by the way, with those 21 kids.
Yes. It turns out this guy, by the way, I want to highlight one thing. In his property... So I don't know if, I don't know if this could be pinned to him, but in his property, raids in 2021 and 2023 uncovered an illegal nightclub, an underground casino, and 1,700 pounds of psilocybin mushrooms, 5 pounds of methamphetamine, and significant quantities of cannabis.
Oh, yeah. And I want to clarify that. He has a large real estate portfolio in California. Yeah. And one of the particular buildings, that one, what's it called? It's called
El Monte or something.
El Monte or something. It's like a commercial plaza that he owns, that he bought. Because he snaps up foreclosed properties. I read into him. He's got a massive, massive property portfolio. Who knows how much it's worth? Billions, millions, billions. And in that commercial center is where all this illegal activity, they found illegal casinos, all sorts of things in that one thing. It belongs to him.
Yeah.
He runs it.
Whether he's doing it or not.
But I mean, the state is even currently doing an abatement against him to try and make him shut down the illegal businesses. But he's just like got so many shell companies and stuff. He can be like, nah.
In fact, it says, this is according to ABC7 Los Angeles, I believe, and another source. In 2014 immigration fraud case, he was identified in recent court documents as the mastermind and ringleader of a scheme that submitted approximately 800 fraudulent asylum applications. And on these applications, the Chinese people were coached to say that they were religiously persecuted. And that's going to come into play in a second. Yeah. So what ties us back to the Uyghur thing, the Xinjiang thing? Guess what?
What?
It turns out this guy was go back to that thing.
Okay,
That's where we're still going on.
I'm sorry. I thought there was something else after that.
It turns out this guy was a CCP official.
A top CCP official.
Top CCP official in Xinjiang.
Yes.
In that contested area where they persecute the Muslims, right?
Yes.
For 20 years.
Yep.
And was in charge of a lot of legislation there.
Yes, he was involved and had a role in legislation.
Involved, yeah.
Yeah. He was involved in, legislatively, he had a role. And that involved things like forced sterilization, forced abortion, the whole thing about
just by nature, like
stripping them of their religion and so on.
Yes.
Which isn't that like a big hypocrisy that he then went to help immigration fraud and coach people to say that they were religiously persecuted?
Yes. I mean,
because he knows the system, because he's the religious persecutor in China.
Being in the CCP in Xinjiang means you're part of this system.
If you're a top official, especially his role that he had, of course you're involved in all of that. I mean, you don't just be a part of that top leadership and not be involved.
For sure. I mean, that's alleged, but it's not alleged that he was a top CCP official.
That's not alleged at all. It's proven.
In Xinjiang.
Yes, exactly.
So, by the way, when my wife was doing her U.S. citizenship,
yes,
right, we did everything. It took a while, but we did it.
Yep.
And asked you, were you a member of the Communist Party? And of course, she says, no, I'm not a member of the Communist Party.
Yes.
This guy's a U.S. citizen.
How did he get his citizenship?
How, as a Communist Party official in Xinjiang, did you get American citizenship? That's wild.
Especially it's such a contentious region with all the human rights abuses and stuff. So a quick breakdown. This guy was a big wig in the Communist Party of China in the Xinjiang area, which is potentially responsible for lots of human rights abuses because he's part of that machine. He's the top there, okay? Yeah. He somehow arrives in America, and it's a bit iffy as to when, but probably somewhere around 2012, 2013, because he gets named and embroiled in this whole immigration fraud scheme, which was actually somebody that was working, in his building that he owned. And it turns out now, new recent documents are showing that he was probably the mastermind behind this, where they fraudulently brought Chinese nationals in under a fake asylum seeker program.
reminds me of that lab guy, the lab they found in California and then the lab they found in Vegas, but there was technically like 30 properties or something.
Yeah.
And then he was using another foreigner to manage the properties. It's like very similar to that kind of stuff.
This guy comes from China as a top CCP official, buys up tens and tens of millions of dollars worth of property around California, sets up, or at least runs the building that has illegal casinos inside of it, drug-related stuff inside of it, immigration fraud stuff inside of it, these buildings. Then on top of it, he gets involved in local politics. And then now gets caught up in this whole surrogacy thing where he's got 21, it's actually 20, I think it's 27 kids they've now found because some of them still hadn't been given birth to yet, which he was training in a boot camp style villa so that he could allegedly place a new US president in power. Isn't
wild.
it crazy?
That's wild.
This dude, and it doesn't stop there. This guy's got a lot of other junk that's going on. Like, okay, let's give an example.
Yeah, let's move it along because we're
yeah, I'm sorry. Over here, Xuen is linked to Arcadia Mayor. Arcadia is where he has that boot camp house of like 21 kids. Eileen Wang's fiance, Mike Sun. Sun was sentenced to 4 years in a federal prison for being an illegal foreign agent of the CCP. He worked with CCP to get Eileen Wang elected. Here's Xuen, Sun, and Wang in one of her events. Now, the thing is, this Xuen guy, this surrogate daddy, who is a CCP official of very dubious nature, he was giving speeches at Eileen Wang's events and endorsing her and so on. Now, can you think about this for a second, guys? If you were in the Chinese diaspora and you are going to one of these events and you see a big wig CCP feared official stand up and endorse somebody, you're going to be like, holy crap, they're here. I know this guy's big up in the CCP. I'm not safe. I better just go along with whatever he says. Yeah. So he's 100% influencing politics in the USA.
Yeah, even if it's just passively.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that he's participating in it by giving speeches at her events, the fact that he's trying to, raise kids to allegedly get them into politics, the fact that he's running illegal activities here, trying to bring people in illegally. This is a bad dude, and he's a bigwig CCP official. But
he's American now.
Yeah, but it shows you how the surrogacy thing can be used. Because he can never become president.
No. The whole thing is outlined on that Uyghur website, so that's in the description.
Yeah, we've got a link if you want to go read about it. But this guy's a bad dude, man.
This, by the way, recently has been happening. These videos have been going around in Xinjiang. They're removing the Arabic script. It's actually Uyghur
yeah, it's Uyghur.
Under the Chinese signs. And in autonomous regions in China, legally in China, they have to have the minority language on the sign as well. So in Inner Mongolia, they have Mongolian and they have Chinese, right?
Yeah.
But they've been removing the Uyghur script from these. And I don't know the context behind that, but I do think that it's probably similar to the mosques they've been destroying.
I think it's part of that whole thing where Xi Jinping wants to harmonize.
It's a national unity law.
Yeah, national unity. Okay, now, we just wanted to point something out here. We've got this crazy amount of birth tourism, surrogacy, and all of this. This is the Chinese government and Chinese nationals taking advantage of the USA, either for financial gain or political gain or whatever it might be, but it's not a good thing. You should not be breaking the law and doing this kind of thing. This is something that I had to very much consider when I came to America. Is my wife became pregnant, but we're living here. We're legal immigrants. We pay tax. We do everything. We're a legal status. So our child has to grow up here anyway, and she will continue to be here the whole time. So she is an American citizen. If I thought I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be here for a long term, I wouldn't have done that. Yeah. I would have gone back and gotten her the citizenship from my home country. Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's not the point. These guys are coming here so they can get that token US citizenship. And leave straight away. Yeah. Now, do you remember that over the past couple of years, tens of thousands of Chinese citizens have been coming through the southern border illegally?
Since 2021.
Yeah.
The amount of illegal crossings by Chinese has gone up 6,300%.
That's a small amount. 6,300%?
Yes.
Yeah.
In 5 years.
Yep.
Okay. It started out, they were in the hundreds, then the thousands, and then the next year was 20,000, the next year was 30,000. Added up, documented, there's over 90,000.
Yeah, documented.
In a short period of time.
Yeah.
Not documented people, documented that illegal aliens from China.
Yeah, because the ones that actually interacted with Border Patrol. Because once they cross the border, they surrender and say like, oh, I want asylum. And then they get sent off to wherever, Flushing's,
Yeah. I don't know why you always add an S to that, but yeah.
Whatever, because Flushing's that stuff down the toilet. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird name.
Flushing, New York. Yeah.
Yes, to Flushing, New York. Guys, this is the tip of the iceberg. China has been running asymmetric warfare. So they're doing it through these, birth centers and so on. This was called Runshui, okay, which was a very outwardly open way. People were it's called studying how to basically run into America, right? So they'd fly to Ecuador because Ecuador does not need a visa for Chinese people. It's visa free. They'd fly into Ecuador and they'd have a whole network set up there. They had fixers in Ecuador that would then set them up with guides that would take them all the way through the Darien Gap and get them to the border of America, and they would know where to get through the fences, send them through, and then coach them on how to do it. So now you've got another, like however many, at least 100,000, if not more, in the past couple of years that have been just absorbed into the system. Now, the problem is there are only so many illegal jobs that these guys can do, but when I say illegal jobs, illegal okay jobs, like working in a restaurant, okay? But there are only so many Chinese restaurants, right? So then now...
gift card fraud.
Yeah, now it starts to spill over into other illegal activities.
We're seeing that so much crimes now being committed by mainland Chinese that you just didn't see before.
Yeah.
Because, how are you going to work when you're illegal like that?
That's the
right?
problem.
Yeah.
So elderly scams where they scam elderly people. We're seeing more and more people being caught doing that.
Yeah.
We're seeing, like you said, the gift card scams where they tamper with the gift cards and go and swap them out on the shelves in Target or whatever. And we're seeing a lot more identity theft scams and so on. In fact, I have over here something popping up. This is very recent. They've just caught another guy another group of illegal Chinese people doing an identity theft scam where what they do is they buy expensive vehicles. So they'll go to a dealership with someone's ID that's been stolen, and all their details, get a loan for like $100,000 or $90,000 or whatever. They get the loan, they get the vehicle, then they drive it to certain places and sell them and then get the money back. And then obviously they default on paying. They don't pay because it's stolen. It's a stolen ID. So the person whose ID they stole now gets a bill in the mail. They're like, what's going on? By then the car can't be recovered.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, and we were discussing this earlier, we're going to see a massive uptick in these kinds of crimes. And that's simply because so many illegal Chinese people came over the border and there's really nothing for them to do legally.
Yeah.
And it's an unfortunate thing. But if you come into the country illegally, you are a criminal. You're breaking the law. If you're willing to break the law to come into the country, you're willing to break the law to make a living. You're willing to break the law, period, because you have already set a precedent. Just by being here, you are breaking the law.
Political dissidents are a different story.
Of course, and that's fine. If somebody is a political dissident, they're not going to be doing illegal stuff. They'll be coming here and applying for asylum legitimately, But that's not what we're seeing here. So that more or less brings us to the end of the entire birth tourism segment of the show. There's a lot more to discuss about it, but I hope you guys can understand the scale. It has become an industry, but not just a small one.
No.
It's massive.
Yeah.
It's, with thousands, at least 1,000 of these birth tourism companies in China, and so many other mom and pop ones around the place. It's just a non-stop machine.
Yeah.
At any given time, there are going to be Chinese parents giving birth in the USA and then flying back. There's probably like a per minute statistic we could find.
Yeah.
But it's pretty bad and it needs some attention. I know it's in the Supreme Court and for me, it's close to home because my daughter's an American citizen, and I'm not an American citizen. It's just the way it is. I am legal, though. Everything's correct. So I'm keeping a close eye on this, but I do believe that if you've got a person who's flying in just to give birth to fly back, that should not count. That's my own personal take on it. Anyway, time for us to move on, guys, and talk about our merch, because this is the last week.
Yeah, Machine Ghosts, the last and final week.
Yes.
amazing merch. The best merch we've made.
Correct.
Everyone agrees. We felt so bad that a lot of people missed it the first round. We got at least 100 emails, people saying, "Can you please re-release it?" We did it for a couple weeks.
We did.
This is the last time.
This is the last.
Not time. Today. If you're watching this on Monday, it'll be the last day.
Yeah, this isn't some week sauce thing where we're like, oh, we're going to bring it back. No.
It's a 2-week sauce.
This is it. It's a 2-week sauce. You're right. Because we had so much demand for this one and a lot of people didn't manage to get it when we first released it, we made the decision that we're going to re-release it.
Yes.
But for a limited time. And a limited time is 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And this is the last week. So if you really want to get your hands on a Hand Machine Ghost t-shirt or a poster or whatever, it's up there on the store, which is thechinashow.threadless.com. We've got hoodies. It's fantastic.
By the way, it's a problem. When we pulled it the first time, eBay resellers were selling this at twice the price.
Yeah.
This is a big deal. People like the shirt. It comes in comfort colors. It's all different qualities you can pay for, right? This is not some crap fly-by-night merch.
Yes.
None of it's made in China.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
And it's hand-drawn. There's no AI used. It's hand-drawn by our artist, Dragonilla, who's fantastic, as you can see the results.
And what it is, it's a statement on phone addiction.
Yes.
It's a conversation starter. Even if you are a Shoji Kong yourself, a hand machine ghost, a phone addict, right? Yep. Even if you are just scrolling, it says Jishu Shua in the background, keep scrolling. Yeah. Even if that is you, it is a conversation starter.
Yes.
About how we are losing ourselves to the algorithm, to our phones, to scrolling.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really, really cool thing. Not only does it look cool, it is a statement.
It's fantastic. We have a surprise coming for our next merch, but we're going to keep that under wraps for now. But this is one more week. If you want this, you got to grab it.
And then you're gonna have to deal with resellers if you don't.
For sure.
TheChinaShow.threadless.com. This is it. Buy a ton of them. Buy them for your friends.
Yep.
Stash them in your closet. Make big bucks later. When everyone's like, "Oh man, I really need those to come back," you'd be like, "Well, guess what? I got a whole closet full of them."
You think that'll work that way? Yeah.
Bollard. Bollard.
Today's Bollard Report, we're looking at Robotaxi.
Whoa. Dude, that stopped really quickly.
It's like you're not getting
Bollard.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bollard.
I needed to get the volume down. It was a bit loud.
Okay.
But this thing scrolled instead of volume down.
I see. The China Post is here to deliver your mail. Ah, crap.
In a very stop-start sort of a manner.
Yeah. Ah, crap.
Yeah, these things aren't doing very well, are they? I mean, they forcefully run people over. We've seen that. Yeah. They run through barriers. They go get stuck on stairs. Who knows what else?
What else happened?
This is crazy. So this is a Baidu robo-taxi thing. Did you see that accident there?
Yes.
So we all know about robo-taxis, right? Like Waymo, what is it called? Waymo?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Waymo and so on. And, Tesla's got the self-driving and all that. So, of course, Baidu, which is a copy of Google, it's a complete copy. It's China's search engine. And even if you go to like images.google.com, you can go images.baidu.com, maps.google.com, maps.baidu.com, whatever.google.com is going to be copied as whatever.baidu.com.
They're just going to track you. So.
I'm just saying, it's the most unimaginative crap ever. And the way that they managed to pull it off, because I was there when it happened, is Google was starting to do well in China. Okay? Baidu pops up. It sucks. Nobody wants to use Baidu because it's especially Baidu Maps and stuff. Google Maps was amazing. It was working in China. Google search engine, they had Chinese language and everything. It's going gangbusters. Chinese government says, this works very well. So why don't we make our own homegrown version? Baidu says, sure, we're going to do it. They come up, they suck. Nobody's using that. China says, okay, easy solution to this, ban Google so no one has a choice. So they ban Google, and everyone's like, well, we can't use Google anymore. Google Maps doesn't work. Google Translate doesn't work, all this. What else do we have? Oh, we'll use that crappy Baidu. And they did. So now you've got the entire country forced to use their product, and then they can incrementally update it and get better because now they have a huge user base and they're making a lot of money.
On April 1st, 2026, over 100 Baidu.
500.
Over 100 Baidu Apollo Go robotaxis unexpectedly shut down in Wuhan, China, stranding passengers and blocking traffic. It was a system-wide mass malfunction that left commuters stuck inside the vehicles for over an hour before authorities intervened. So this is called the Apollo Go service in China. You can see some of the footage.
I mean,
and they just stopped. It turns out at the end, they counted it all up. It looks like around 500 vehicles.
Do you know how dangerous that is? Because it just stopped. We saw one accident earlier, but if you're stuck in a car like that and it just dies and the doors are locked because now the whole system's frozen, and you're sitting in there and you've got these cars coming at you, barreling past. I mean, how terrifying must that be to be stuck in that? Because it just takes one person not paying attention and they're going to rear end you and you're done.
I like how they stopped on the highway.
Yeah.
And people just slammed into it.
It's terrible.
And then you're stuck in there.
Like 500 of them stopped and people are stuck in there for an hour. I'm sorry, but everyone says China's living in the future and they adopt things quickly, which they do, but they adopt them too quickly. And they allow people to beta test these products with their lives.
Because the human life is worthless in
Yeah,
China,
exactly.
according to the government.
And I recently watched a Chinese guy specifically flew to California, rented a Tesla to test this full self-driving, and he let it drive around. And he made a big blog about how much better it is than the Baidu and the Huawei and all that stuff, and that there's a lot of catching up to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's true. They keep saying like all of the stuff in China has got these features, but they're not properly safety tested first. You know, because it doesn't matter. If people die, the companies don't get into trouble.
Yep.
You know? Anyway, there's an official police report which just shows it's a real deal, so much so that they couldn't hide it. You know? Well, this guy's lucky that it stopped on the side, eh?
Yeah.
Oh no, the people are still stuck inside.
in
Look.
there.
Yeah, they can't get out. It's a good thing it wasn't like very hot or something.
Yeah, that could have been devastating, eh?
Yeah.
Although they probably have air conditioning, right?
Oh, the window's down.
Oh, they're down. Okay, good.
Well, you could theoretically climb out then.
Yeah, why
I
would
wouldn't
you
be
not?
sitting in there.
Yeah, what if it decides to take off? It malfunctioned to stop. Why would it not malfunction to go take off
I'm
somewhere?
more worried about someone slamming into the car, on a highway like that.
But, I mean, like, seriously, though, if it's going to stop in the middle of the road, why is it not going to drive off a bridge?
True. You don't know.
You don't know?
No.
I'm not getting into one of those Chinese taxis.
No.
Get out of here.
Wait, what is it?
Must be nice to live in a real country.
Yeah, because, everything's so high-tech that it fails and puts you in danger.
Imagine this on a wider scale than just robo-taxis. There's no reason this is limited to robo-taxis.
Sure.
It could be any EV in China, right?
100%. There are many cases of Chinese EVs bricking while driving.
Yeah.
So you're driving, it does a software update, and then it just dies.
What if you have one where it's 2 million cars because it's one brand, or 10 million cars, right? And it's an over-the-air update, and everyone gets it at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And then it bricks your car.
Well, I'll tell you, there have been numerous cases where brands go out of, they actually just stop making them because they go out of business, and then they can no longer update their cars and they all brick, and then there's nothing you could do because the company doesn't exist anymore. You can't get parts, you can't get software updates.
One of my favorite things is these Chinese EVs. They have all these fancy features, like being able to use motion gestures to open up a door.
Now, this is the dumbest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Let's see.
So they've got this foreigner, this drunk foreigner, apparently. He looks drunk to me. I don't know about you.
He might not be drunk, but he could be drunk.
I think there's a high percentage that he's off his nut.
Some Russian.
Okay, yeah. And so they've got this thing in a mall, which they do to
Just play it. It's long.
Yeah, okay. So like, you do the gesture and it will open. Oh, it doesn't work. Because you have to be very specific, right?
Why? Why does this exist?
I mean, literally, if you're going to be that close,
You're
just
gonna be
use
a
the
drunk
handle.
Russian, I get it. Maybe you're a little impaired. Right? But even that, why just open the handle?
I know.
Frick, we don't need this.
No. So now this is where it gets really funny.
Yeah.
This is a top of the line, very expensive
200
luxury.
grand.
It's Huawei, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
well,
this,
it's a Huawei thing.
it's a Huawei mixed with,
Something else.
it's
like a collab
It's
and
like a
made it
collab.
all.
Yeah. It's like a mixed breed. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is, how much was it again? $200,000?
Yes.
So it's like a very expensive luxury car. Watch this. Guy gets in. He's trying to do the gesture to
close the door. So come on, close, door, close. Yeah, bro's swimming in the air.
I'm sorry, but this is so dumb. Just pull the door closed. Yeah, there he finally gave up and he pulled the door closed. But isn't that the stupidest thing? Because it takes the same amount of effort to wave than it does to close.
I think it feels more because think about this.
Because you have to execute it.
If I'm holding, my weight is being relieved here.
Oh, because you're holding.
But if you're like this, you're doing exercise.
Yeah. It's like you're using your triceps and stuff or whatever. I mean, isn't that dumb? But now here's the crazy part, okay, is that this video went viral in China because everyone's mocking this.
Because it's a luxury, crazy hypercar.
Not only that, it's just dumb. The guy is putting so much effort where he could have literally just pulled the door closed.
So people are clowning on it.
Yeah, they're clowning because it's a stupid feature. It's unnecessary, right? It got tons of views. It got shared a bunch. Huawei came along and got it removed. And you know how they got it removed? They said that it's their face, their privacy, their likeness is being used without their permission. And they actually got it taken down.
Yeah.
And now they're suing people that are trying to post this. This is the problem with Chinese EV companies, is that they sue critics into silence. Because let's be honest, some of them make okay products, but a lot of it's trash, or it's in beta testing phase, or they catch fire, or they result in people getting injured, or the door handles break, whatever. There's lots of problems, but they don't want people to know about these problems, okay? Especially on the international stage. So what they do is they sue any car critic that says there's something wrong. Sue them into silence, because you can do that in China. Then the international press is like, oh, China's EVs are great. It's because you don't hear about the bad stuff because they get sued. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, they said, oh, this is not right because the vehicle was in park anyway. And I mean, it only does that gesture thing in park. But there's no way to tell whether it was in park or in drive. They can't tell.
How would you know?
Yeah, there's no way to tell. There's no light that tells you it's in park or in drive.
Maybe they can monitor that.
That specific one on that video, I mean...
It's a Chinese EV company, bro.
That's true.
That's why you don't want them in your own country. Right?
Yeah, this is true. Either way, just to show you how stupid that feature is, and how bad the Chinese EV companies are, that they will sue people who try to point very obvious things out. Why can you not make fun?
It's just a joke, dude.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even a dangerous thing.
They get the stuff removed, and then they sue people. Yeah. Can you imagine that you made a funny video about, like, I don't know, your Tesla Cybertruck cut a carrot or something, you know, instead of, you know, bouncing back up, and then...
That's even like a dangerous thing. No, it's like, oh, my door doesn't shut.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, look at this door, and it keeps popping open.
Yeah, I didn't close it hard enough.
And you get sued by Tesla, and then YouTube is forced to take your video down.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
What's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is.
Stupid.
Anyway, that was...
Bollard
Report.
Indeed.
Beyond the Great Firewall, we take you inside the Chinese internet and translate what's going on there.
Indeed,
recently, there's been this weird thing happening in Guizhou. And this isn't a hot place. This is in southern China.
Yeah.
They had this situation where this hail came down. Yingbao, as it's called in Chinese. And it caused these massive
like ice
flows, like a glacier.
Yeah, look at this.
These waves went through the streets, and the top of the flooding was actually ice.
By the way, China's drainage sucks.
Must be nice to live in a real country.
Yeah, look at this. By the way, this is like a top priority city in China right now.
Yeah.
Guiyang's like, they're putting so much effort into promoting this place.
Yes.
But it looks so bizarre because this is not a place that gets snow or anything. This is a very hot city. But it's covered. It looks like it's covered in like liquid snow.
Yeah.
Almost like soap bubbles or something from like a... You know, when your laundry machine is exploding.
It's insane.
It was really, really weird. Very strange phenomenon. So, of course, that created some sort of, you know, rumor mill where people are like, oh, no, the CCP leadership is bad because this is like a sign from God that's coming down. Like, weird weather events, Chinese people are very superstitious
Yeah, and this is also in southern China.
Yes, in Guangzhou. So, massive flooding and winds happened. It was very, very crazy.
Yep.
And again, anytime these weather events happen, a lot of people who are superstitious go, what does this mean? You know, turbulent times mean it's the mandate of heaven, as they say, right? It's time to change the whole structure.
The leadership, yeah.
Look at that. We saw this so many times.
Oh, yeah. I've made videos right in the aftermath and one in Shenzhen where it ripped up all the trees and so on. It's crazy.
And the flooding is wild. Like, you get used to it, but, you know, you'll have feet of water in the streets that is just... It's like a torrent. It's like a river.
It's like you
get used to it. You go like, I'm in this developed-looking city, and there's a torrent of river going through my road.
Yeah.
The rats swimming in it.
Exactly, and the underground parking lots filled up and everyone's cars got flooded out and stuff.
You just got to be ready for it, especially in southern China.
Yeah.
Actually, no, anywhere. Because even when I lived in northern China where it was in the desert, the rare times that it rained, it would flood insanely.
Yeah, China's drainage is very bad. The cities are terrible at draining.
Yes.
Anyway, guys, this is our VIP show you missed on Monday. I better bring the volume up.
In China, nobody wants domestic stuff.
They won't buy it.
If you were to give someone California strawberries in China, you have hit the jackpot. Like a Japanese person's going to look at this and get mad?
I don't think anyone's going to pay money for dirt to eat it here.
No. Oh, so he wants to help us that real quick. It sucks.
Rare.
A luxury.
It's rare.
I will spend $1,500 on jeans.
The grab hags would go there and just take everything.
The value of something like this is exorbitantly more in China. They went to an illegal mine in Burma, and they'll show like where they hacked out like the actual like purple jade.
Wait, is that really a cricket cage?
It is really a cricket cage, Winston.
Just think about the interior, the back side of that pant leg. It's got to be all
It's
gross.
white too.
Yeah, and it's got to probably stick to his leg. Dude, that's a rough one. I got to say, that's freaking rough.
I don't know if you're listening, you probably didn't understand what that was about.
Sure.
We talked about things. This is interesting to a lot of people. Things that are insanely cheap in the US, but are wildly expensive in China for no reason.
Exactly.
So if you like the whole idea of like, I just stumbled across my dead grandpa's World War II items or whatever, and I'm going to make a ton of money at a pawn shop. It's that kind of idea.
Or you can become a shill.
Or you could become a shill.
Yes.
Yes. Because there are a lot of things in America, like just strange shaped stones that would be worthless. You say, oh, that looks like an arch.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks like a hand, right?
It sells for $100,000
$100,000
in
China. So it's all the weird stuff that sells for so much in China that's worthless here.
Yeah.
And we thought that was really interesting to cover.
It was a lot of fun. And that is our VIP show. Yeah, that was the episode.
195.
If you have the means, we'd love for you to join us on Mondays. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's on patreon.com/ADP podcast. By the way, it's the best way to support us, patreon.com/ADP podcast. We have a show every Monday, like you said. If you pay half for the half price tier, you don't get to watch it live, but it goes live. It basically becomes available right after we go live.
Yeah, we
on
make
Mondays.
it live. Well, we make it available to you immediately after it's finished being live.
If you're on the live tier, you pay the full price, you get access to everything. You vote on the next topic. You are part of the discussion Q&A, live Q&A.
Yeah.
You decide what we're going to do in future episodes. It's a whole thing. It's awesome. We do handwritten Chinese names that you can win.
Yeah.
And we make them for you. It's fantastic. By the way, this was from an episode of Xiaoban Ho, our patron show, and that's where the intro music came from.
Yeah, you might be worried about thinking about this interesting intro today. Well, it's an April Fool's hangover.
Yes, because we didn't have a show.
We didn't have a show on April Fool's, so that was our April Fool's.
We uncovered this weird genre where a Vietnamese woman makes massive speaker systems out of fridges
and random stuff, and she plays the most bizarre music like this.
So we heard this music, right?
Yeah.
And we were like, what is this genre? It took us weeks. We finally figured out the song.
We found the song.
We put it on the intro.
That's
so it was a little inside joke for you guys that are on Patreon. You guys knew I saw in the chat.
Okay,
You're like, yo, they found the song.
We did.
I just love that some Vietnamese village is blasting that music and everyone's standing around like, yeah, this rules.
Yeah, exactly.
This freaking rule.
Anyway, it's time for Worldview, where we talk about everything in the world, specifically with regards to China. Take a look. This is I believe it's the Washington, D.C. Chinese embassy or consulate or whatever. Embassy. Remember a couple weeks ago we showed you how the dissidents were projecting like down with the CCP stuff
Yeah, like
onto...
Chinese people that hate the CCP did like a projection graffiti.
Yes.
And it said like down with the CCP and all that
So
kind of
now the embassies, and this one in DC, has lit up all of their walls so that the people can't project stuff. They are so insecure. Look at that. They have floodlights on all of the walls so that at night nobody can project anything on it.
Pretty hilarious.
It's really funny.
That is so funny.
I mean, they must have a hell of an electricity bill.
That is so hilarious that they're so worried that someone's going to shine a light.
They're so insecure.
Come on.
Yeah. I wonder if they've done that now to all of the embassies around the country.
Yeah, let us know in the chat. Maybe if you guys
Yeah.
have seen it or heard. or heard something.
Yeah. Either way, that's typical CCP fashion. Just drown it out rather than...
Kind of Streisand.
Yeah. It is. It kind of is. So now what you need is a colorful beam of light or something. There's got to be a way to pierce through that.
Doesn't matter if it's colored.
Yeah,
it's
it's
still
true.
light, right?
There must be a way to do it. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. People will get creative. Eventually, they'll have to turn off the lights because that's outlandish. Just brings so much attention.
Exactly. Oh, China's Tianlong 3 rocket?
Yes. Is that the one that took off accidentally?
Yeah, remember months ago, was it even a year ago,
ages ago.
or maybe 2 years ago, even, they were doing a test launch and then the clamps broke free and it just went into a mountain and blew up or whatever, right? Now they finally decided this is its debut. They launched it.
Right after Artemis too, right?
Yeah, obviously they timed that on purpose. They're like, 我们也可以做, you know? So they got this 我们的天龙三就好, and then they launch it up. It failed. You know what's very interesting though? Whenever something like SpaceX or NASA or whatever fails at something, there's outbursts of celebration on the Chinese internet and speculation. Oh, I hope it didn't fall on someone's head, or they suck, or look how bad their stuff is. When the Chinese stuff fails, silence. And I'm talking about from the whole internet. Yeah. In the West, people will also criticize if SpaceX fails or whatever. They'll make mocking comments and videos, and they'll do analysis about why it failed and all that kind of stuff.
I didn't hear a thing about
when Chinese stuff fails, zip. The Chinese government will say, "Oh, we landed on the dark side of the moon and took samples and had 10 people land there and build a house." And then everybody will be like, "Wow, China's living in the future." They never question it.
No, we say prove it.
Yeah, we say prove it. That's just the way it works. It's like there's this unquestioning faith in anything China says.
Both of us have met people recently where you talk to someone, and this is not their fault.
No.
This is actually a product of what's been happening. You talk to them and they say, man, China's really switched on. You see what they're doing with this and this and this. And you go, what are you talking about?
Yep.
That's, demonstrably proven wrong if you know anything like we do.
Yep.
But nobody goes past that because you have no access to that information.
Yes.
There's no one doing it.
Yep. I know, it's crazy. So I just hate that there's always 100% trust in anything that the Chinese propaganda puts out, but so much skepticism.
Why did I not hear about this?
Yeah, exactly.
You told me about this. I should be on the news. I follow the news.
Yeah. Dude, even if it does well, if SpaceX or whatever, NASA does well, people will be like somehow make it about CIA and JFK assassination.
Right.
They'll throw that in there somewhere.
ABP,
and an Epstein file.
For sure. It's ABP.
Yeah, it is. It's ABP, which is
America Bad Party. America Bad.
America bad in all circumstances. China good.
Yeah, that's
China
it.
good.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so their rocket thing failed. If anyone's curious.
Yeah.
What do we got?
What's this? It's the sticker giveaway.
Yeah, we have a sticker giveaway, guys. Let's run through this and see if you're lucky enough if you put your name in for the stickers to win. There's that red line again, dude.
I always see that red line. Cross that red line. One day that red line will win.
One day. Who do we got?
It's Jake S.
Jake the Garden Snake.
Come claim your prize. Actually, just check your email.
Somebody will send you an email and you'll get your 5 stickers. Now, the stickers, please stick them wherever you like. Maybe share on Discord with us.
You can stick wherever you like.
Hey, look, that line went away.
Oh, cool. I hated that line.
Yeah, interesting. Who else we got here?
It's Madeline.
Congratulations. Again, someone will be reaching out. That is a hell of a stuffed circle. The line's back, kind of. Or is it?
It's...
Yeah, it's there.
It's...
How many are we giving away?
4.
4, okay, so...
Aurora Wolf.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations, Aurora Wolf.
Getting some China Show stickers coming your way.
For
free.
Finally, we have...
The red line's back, dude.
Cross that red line.
Oh, cross the red line. We used to have a soundbite.
Robert M.M.
Robert M.M. Congratulations. All of you are recipients of some stickers of the China Show. That QR code, don't worry. It's nothing like malware or something.
It just goes
straight to our channel, so it's
Yeah.
a great way to spread the word.
Exactly. Well, guys, it's Q&A time. It's Yamcha. This is where we answer your questions and you question our answers. It is Friday. After all this time, it's time to loosen the tie, relax, grab a beverage. Let's answer some questions and
Super
ease
chats.
into the weekend. Yes.
Yes. Thank you for all the people that sent super chats, by
Yes.
the way.